In previous parts, we have seen what exactly is a data structure. A data structure is nothing but a representation of logical relationship existing between individual elements of data. In simple words, a data structure is a simple way of organizing all your data. Let me give you an example for this. Everybody has seen their home's kitchen, correct? In kitchen, everything is placed according to priority of use. It's stored according to the container size or container type, and everything is placed or stored according to its use. Yes or no? So few things which are perishable are stored in fridge, few things which are not perishable are stored outside in a cupboard. Few things which can be used mostly while cooking are stored nearer to the that kitchen platform, and few things which are very seldom used, they are stored in back in the cupboard. So likewise, at home we used to organize our kitchen, organize our data according to priority, according to storage type, according to use, and so on. In computer engineering as well, we intend to store the data according to priority, according to the use, and according to the ease of access. Now basically, why do we require organization? We simply require organization for effective data retrieval. Why this effective data retrieval is important, you ask? It is extremely simple. Data storage in computer engineering was never a problem. Frankly speaking, we have an ample amount of data. Practically speaking, an infinite amount of data space is available to store the data. So storage of data was never a problem. Now what exactly problem was? The problem was retrieval of data. Let us simply say that I have a 4 TB hard disk present with me full of movies. If I want to search some particular movie, I will simply press Ctrl F for that hard disk, and I will simply type the movie name. The amount of time which I get for the retrieval of that folder, movie folder, is the amount of time I compare with another system. And according to that amount of time, we say that yes, my system is fast or my system is slow. So organization of data plays the most important role in retrieval of data. If you know where the data is stored, if you know how the data is stored, if you know how to retrieve the data, then data retrieval process becomes extremely efficient. Let me just continue with that previous movie example. In 4 TB, if I store the movies simply according to their name, then retrieval process becomes hectic. The retrieval is fast, but the retrieval process takes much more time rather than I store it in otherwise. What if I store movies according to folders? If I store horror movies in one folder, if I store sci-fi movies in another folder, and so on. If I create various different folders according to genre, if I create various different folders according to the date of launch of movie, or what if I create various different folders according to the language, English movies, Marathi movies, Hindi movies, Telugu movies, and all those. So if that information is present with me, before searching, I can process my data, convert it to information, and then I can process that information for effective retrieval. So this process is the basic working process for data structure. In data structures also, we perform the same task. We take the data, we process the data, we store the data according to either priority, according to either ease of access, or according to either some predefined particular discipline, so that whenever next time we require the store data, by applying simple algorithm, the effective retrieval of data becomes very much easier. Now every time I am talking something about effective data retrieval, correct? Now to retrieve the data, I need to give some commands. That set of commands to retrieve the data is completely based on a logic, is it not? And what logic it is based on? It is simply based on the pure logic for storage. The way through which I store should be the way through which I should retrieve. If the storage and retrieval process are same, then I can say that my data structure is effective enough, efficient enough for data processing. So that simply means my algorithm along with the data structure gives me an effective way of retrieval of data, yes or no? What is algorithm? The basic logic for retrieval commands. What is data structure? The background architecture in which my data is organized or presented or stored. If I combine these two things, if I combine my logic along with the data organization, in other words, if I combine my algorithm along with my data structure, what I'll get? I'll get an effective mechanism of retrieval, or in other words, I'll get an effective program. Correct? That is what my third point is. A data structure affects the design of both structural and functional aspects of program. That means if you know how to organize your data structurally, if you know how to organize data based on dependencies, that is functionally, then the retrieval process or the programming process, coding process becomes more effective. So as per our discussion, what exactly is a program? It is logic plus organization of data, or it is an algorithm plus data structure. So of course, for this, the logic or an algorithm plays very important role. If your algorithm is effective enough, then your program becomes effective. If your algorithm itself is not effective, then your program might not be that effective. Of course, the effectiveness of program is tested on various different rubrics, just like effectiveness of any student can be tested. For example, what if HOD sir asks me to give me the names of first 5 best students to award in our class? So how should I decide the best student? I should have some rubrics, correct? Only academically best students cannot be best. Only a student who perform exceptionally well in sports cannot be best. The students who are very frequently winning prizes outside the institution, or who are interested in extracurricular, co-curricular activities and not others, cannot be the best. So what I simply do, I create a rubrics sheet. So what that thing is, for academics I give some marks, for co-curricular activities I give some marks, for extracurricular activities I impart some marks, for his behavior I impart some marks, and finally I take average of all these things. And whatsoever student who tops in that average is the best student for the class. This is not actually the way, but accordingly if I proceed, then I'll have a complete set of rubrics present with me, and then I can justify the process why I have selected this thing, why this thing is the best. So likewise, we need to set rubrics for effectiveness of algorithm. How do we set rubrics for effectiveness of algorithm? For that, we are going to see analyzing programs and analysis of algorithms, again in the upcoming sessions of, in upcoming parts of this unit. Up to this part, what we have seen? Up to this part, we have seen something about what exactly data is, what are data types, what data type exactly conveys you, what data types you normally work with. Can you create, or is it a facility to create a new data type? Then yes, it is a facility. We can create our new data type by using ADTs, which we are going to see in upcoming unit. Then we moved our discussion to data structures. What exactly data structures are? What exactly an organization of data means? The organization is mainly focused on priority of data which is to be used, then storage type of data which is to be used, and then ease of access of data. So based on these 3 main rubrics, we create various different data organizations. Of course, there are various other disciplines involved, but based on these 3, we create various different organizations, and those organizations are called as data structures. Now to access those data structures, where data can be dependent or can be independent of the other thing, now to store or to access this data structure, we require some logic, correct? That logic can be developed through, or the logic can be called as an algorithm to implement your data structure. The effectiveness of algorithm with your data architecture or data organization will give you an effective program. So effectiveness of algorithm is most important, correct? We are going to see in our further discussions how exactly the algorithm's effectiveness helps the effectiveness of program.